Right, so we're going to have a look at the analog engines. So what we've got in the analog engine, if I just double tap this machines button, we have got bass drums. So we've got hard, classic, FM, plastic, silky and sharp. We have 4 different types of snare drum, which are hard, classic, FM and natural. 2 rim shots, hard and classic. 2 noise sort of envelopes, which is obviously a waveform generator, a white noise generator, and the UT impulse, which I believe you can make like tom sounds with that. So we'll get onto that. And then we've got the synth engine, which is the Dual VCO. So the Dual VCO reminds me to like the Moog Minotaur sort of thing. But what we will do is we will just go through each and every one of them in each video, and we're going to start off with the BD hard, which is the hard bass drum. And this is what it sounds like, initial preset. So what I'll do is I've just made a pattern, just simple pattern, and I'm just going to play that, and we're just going to have a listen to how it sounds. I'll just increase the tempo a bit. So that's how it sounds. So let's just zero all these out. Zero them all out. 0, 0, 0. Put the tune back up to 0. And that's what we get. Straight up. Nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through each one of these. This is just going to be out of the manual, so it's not my words. This is just coming straight from the manual. So the tune. This sets the pitch of the oscillator. That sets the pitch. Stim or sweep time. This sets the pitch sweep time. The depth of the sweep is fixed. That's that. Snap amount. This sets the snap transient level. Yep. Decay sets the length of the decay phase. That's that. WAV or wave. This sets the oscillator waveform to sine, asymmetric, sine or triangle. 0, 1 or 2. Hold time. This sets the hold time, the time before the decay phase starts. So right, so that is the hold time before this one. So if we want to visually look at that, what that is it's basically the hold time. That's what the hold time is. And then that's the decay. So that's what it's doing. Tick level. This sets the level of the transient tick. And then overdrive. This sets the gain amount into the analog overdrive. So that is BD hard. Now we're going to look at classic. BD classic. So BD classic is the next one down, and this is what the initial sound sounds like. So let's just reset all these parameters. So that's what we get. So let's just run through it from A to H. So A is the tune. This sets the pitch of the oscillator. Stim. This is exactly the same throughout these two on the bass drums. So this sets the pitch sweep time. Low values result in short sweep. Sweep depth. This sets the depth of the pitch sweep. So if we take that to 127. Now we're getting somewhere. So that's the depth. Obviously the higher the number, the higher the pitch. And that's the time. So you can get some really short, snappy, or some long. Some really long ones. Decay time, this sets the length of the decay phase time, so basically short or infinite. Wave, this sets the oscillator's waveform to sine, asymmetric, or sine or triangle, or 1, 2, or 3. So sine wave, asymmetric, or triangle. Hold, exactly like the hard. This is this sets the hold time, the time before the decay sets in. So before this sets in, that's how long it holds for. Before that sets in. Transient, this sets the tick or noise of the transient sound to its level. So you get 55 of them. Overdrive sets the gain amount into the analog overdrive. And that basically is the BD Classic. Here we are now looking at the FM. So this is the bass drum FM. This is the normal sound, what it sounds like, the initial preset. But with them all zeroed out, that sounds quite nice. Right, let's just run through what each parameter does from A to H. So A is the tune. This sets the pitch of the first modulated oscillator. Sweep time sets the pitch sweep time of the first oscillator. That's that. FMD. FM decay. This sets the length of the decay phase of the second oscillator and consequently the decay time of the FM effect. Decay time. So decay DC. This sets the length of the decay phase of the first oscillator and consequently the whole of the drum sound. So that's the whole drum sound. FMT, FMS and FMA. So FMT is the FM tune. This sets the pitch of the second modulating oscillator. FMS, the sweep time. This sets the pitch sweep time of the second oscillator. And the FMA, FM amount. This sets the amount of frequency modulation of the second oscillator subject to the first. So let's just have a listen. So what's going on here? So these two here, these are your foundation. That's the foundation drum. FM A, D, S and T, these are the FM parameters. So the amount, T is the tune, S is the sweep time. So if we get these somewhat similar, and then the decay, and that's the amount. crunchy sort of kick drums with that. And then over, that is the overdrive, that sets the gain amount into the analog overdrive. So we'll just have a look there. So you can get some really beefy stuff out of that one. So that is the bass drum FM. Right, so here we have DB plastic. So what we're going to do is just show you the sound straight out of the box. That's that. And working through each parameter from A to H. So we have the tune. This sets the pitch of the two interacting oscillators. Stim sets the pitch sweep time of the two interacting oscillators. S-depth or sweep depth. This sets the depth of the pitch sweep. Decay, this sets the length of the decay phase. Type, the modulation type. This first is linear frequency modulation between the oscillators. The second is combined with ring modulation. Mod sets the modulation depth. Tick is the tick level. This sets the level of the transient tick. And overdrive, sets the gain amount into the analog overdrive. So let's go with tune. Stim or sweep time. Sweep depth. And then decay. Type. Mod level. Tick. And then overdrive. Some really nice kicks with that. Quite like the plastic. So that is the plastic. Next up is Silky. So this is what the Silky sounds like straight out of the box. Not bad at all. Let's just reset all these parameters. Right, so let's just work through these from A to H. So A is the tune, you've got your sweep time, your sweep depth, your decay, your dust level, hold time, VCO click, and then overdrive. So tune. This sets the pitch of the oscillator. Sweep time sets the pitch of the sweep time. Sweep this coincides with sweep depth. The sweep depth sets the depth of the pitch sweep. Decay is the decay time or the length of the decay phase. That's that. Dust level, this sets the level of subtle tape-like static. Hold sets the length of the hold phase. So that obviously coincides with the depth. So this happens before this. VCO click, this sets a soft oscillator generated click level. And then over, this sets the gain amount into the analog overdrive. And that is Silky. Right, let's have a look at BD sharp. So this is what it sounds like out of the box. these to 0. That's what it sounds like zeroed out. So going through parameter A to H. So A is your tune, sweep time, sweep depth, sweep decay, waveform, hold or your hold time, your tick level, and then your overdrive or over. So tune, this sets the pitch of the oscillator. Sweep time, this sets the pitch of the sweep time. Sweep depth, this sets the pitch of the pitch sweep. So these two will coincide with these three here, that one, and that one. They will all coincide together. So the waveform, there's 5 waveforms to choose from: sine, asymmetric sine, triangle, sine tooth, and sawtooth. Quite a tongue twister for me, that one. So the anchor point, which is that little square, that is basically being re-triggered, and that's running freely. Re-triggered, running freely. It's more analog if you run it freely. So let's just run through these. So this is the sine. So that's re-triggered, running freely. Asymmetric sine, running freely. Triangle, running freely. Sine tooth, running freely. Sawtooth, running freely. That's that. Hold time, this sets the length of the hold phase. That coincides before this, so this happens before that. That's that. And then the tick level, that sets the level of transient tick. And then you've got your overdrive. And that is the BD sharp. Okay, so now we're going to look at the snare drums. So we've got 4 different types of snare drum. We've got the hard, classic, FM and natural. We're going to start off with the hard. So we double tap them on this machine. These are the 4 types. So we've got hard, classic, FM and natural. So we're going to start off with hard. This is the box standard, out of the package, initialized sound. That's of the hard. So now we're going to run through each parameter from A to H. So A is your tune. Now you've got your sweep time, your sweep depth, your decay, your tick level, your noise decay, your noise level, and then your overdrive. So if I just reset all these to 0, so if I just put that to 64, so your sweep time, so them two coincide together, so your sweep depth, then your sweep time. So it goes quite high up. The tick level, this sets the level of the transient tick. Noise decay, which is this one, sets the length of the noise decay phase. The noise level sets the noise level, and the overdrive, that sets the gain amount of the analog overdrive. Let's go for tick level. That's that. Noise level, and then noise decay. So them two coincide together, them three coincide together. That's on its own, and then two together. And then that's the overall drive. that is the snare drum hard. Up next is the snare drum classic. This is the classic snare drum that we all know and we all love. 808, 909. That's your box standard initial preset. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm just going to reset all these to 0. So now running through each parameter from A to H. So A, that is your tune. This sets the common pitch of the oscillators. D tune, this sets the pitch of the second oscillator in relation to the first. Oscillator balance, this sets the balance between the levels of oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. Decay, this sets the length of the decay phase. Snap amount, this sets the snap transient level. Noise decay, this sets the length of the noise decay phase. The noise level sets the noise level, and the overdrive sets the gain amount into the analog overdrive. So let's have a go on each parameter. So that's the balance between them both. Decay. Snap. No, the snap amount. Noise decay along with the noise level. And then the overdrive. And that is the snare drum classic. Next up we have the FM, snare drum FM. So out of the box that's what it sounds like. So let's just put all these back to 0. So running through each parameters from A to H. So we have the tune. This sets the pitch of the first modulated oscillator. FMT, this sets the pitch of the second modulating oscillator. FMD sets the decay time of the second modulating oscillator and consequently the decay time of the FM effect. Decay, this sets the length of the decay phase of the first modulated oscillator and consequently the whole sound drum. FMA, this sets the amount of frequency modulation of the second oscillator subject to the first. NDEC, noise decay, this sets the length of the noise decay phase. N level, noise level, this sets the noise level. And then overdrive, that sets the gain amount of the analog overdrive. So let's just have a play about. So this is tune. And that is the FM snare drum. Next up is the snare drum natural. So again, this is the initial preset straight out of the box. That's what it sounds like. So all I'm going to do is just reset each parameter. So each one of these parameters, let's run through what these are from A to H. So A is your tune, that sets the pitch of the first oscillator. Noise decay, this sets the length of the noise decay. The balance, this sets the balance between the noise and the oscillator. Decay time, this sets the length of the decay time or the decay phase of the oscillator. Noise high pass filter, this sets the noise high pass filter cutoff frequency. Low pass filter, this sets the noise low pass filter cutoff frequency. Resonance or noise resonance, adds a resonant peak to the noise low pass filter. Zero value quenches noise resonance altogether. And then overdrive, this sets the gain amount in the analog overdrive. So let's just have a play about. So that doesn't affect this tune. All this is affecting is the noise level. So with this you could make some really nice hats as well, hi-hats. If you set this, get rid of that click, that'd be nice. I would have liked that to do the whole lot, because I suppose you could do it on this side with the high pass here. So I quite like this one. Quite like that one, that's nice, I like it. So that is the snare drum natural. Next up we've got the rim shots. So we've got two different types. We have the hard and the classic. So let's just quickly run through these in two short videos. So the hard, this is what's out of the box. Running through each parameter from A to H. Obviously E is non-existent. So starting from A is the tune. This sets the pitch of the oscillator. Sweep time. This sets the pitch sweep time. Sweep depth. This sets the depth of the pitch sweep. Decay. This sets the length of the decay phase. Tick level, which is F. This sets the level of the transient tick. Noise level. This sets the noise level. And then over or overdrive sets the gain amount in the analog overdrive. So let's have a play about, see what it sounds like. So yeah, that's the rim shot, that's the hard, rim shot hard. Next up we have the rim shot classic. So this is the initial preset straight out of the box. That's what it sounds like. So we'll run through each parameter like we have done, one from A to H, missing out the ones that are not available. So the rim shot classic, so A, this is the tune of oscillator 1. This sets the pitch of the first oscillator. Tune oscillator 2, this sets the pitch of the second oscillator. This is the balance between the both of the oscillators 1 and 2. This decay, this sets the length of the decay phase. Tick level, this sets the basically sets the level of the transient tick. So that sets the tick level. The noise level sets the noise amount level, and the overdrive sets the gain amount into the analog overdrive. So let's have a mess about, see what we can come up with. So that is the rim shot classic. Next up, from the drum machines in the analog section of the Syntakt, if we double tap on it, we've got UT noise. So what UT stands for is utility. So we've got noise and then we've got impulse. So we'll start off with noise. This is what the basic sounds like. It just sounds like. So we can make loads of stuff out of this. So hats. You can even make snare drums, all sorts. So let's just run through each parameter and what they do. So S depth, that's the sweep depth. This sets the depth of the low pass filter sweep. Negative as well as positive sweeps are possible. The sweep time, this sets the length of the sweep from the depth set by the DEP. Low values results in snappy sweeps, high values result in longer sweeps. You've got your attack, this sets the length of the attack phase. Decay, this sets the length of the decay phase. The decay can be set to infinite length. HPF, which is high pass filter, sets the high pass filter cutoff frequency. Low pass filter, that sets the low pass filter cutoff frequency. The resonance, this sets the amount of resonance around the cutoff frequency of the low pass filter. And the level, this sets the overall sound volume of the machine. So in this one, we've noticed that we haven't got an overdrive, it's just a level. So let's have a play about, let's see what we can make. So that is basically the UT noise. So you can get creative with that, you can do whatever you want with that. Lovely jubbly. Next up is the UT impulse, the utility impulse. So in the manual, what it says the UT utility impulse is I'll just read it for you. The impulse machine can be used to ping the filter to create tom sounds. So on the so this is what we'll do next. On the filter page, set the frequency parameter to around 48, the resonance parameter to a high value, and then trigger the machine. Another use case for the impulse machine is to create the transient sound that can be used together with another sound. So basically what it's saying there is we can create a tom sound with this, or we can use this with another sound to create like a click or a like that, for example. So what we'll do is I'll just talk you through these 4 parameters. So we've got the attack, so this sets the length of the attack phase. Decay, this sets the length of the decay phase. Polarity, so positive or negative polarity, and then the overall level of the device, of the machine, should I say. So let's go into filter, let's go 48. So quite a nice little effect, like that, really like that. So just from a little impulse, a little tick. You can create toms, you can layer them up with other sounds to create that transient, that tick. So that is basically the UT noise. Oh, the UT impulse, should I say, not the noise. The UT impulse. Now we're on to the last machine of the analog machines within Syntakt, and this is the Dual VCO machine. So let's just run through each parameter from A to H, starting off with A. So A, that's the oscillator tune 1. This sets the tuning of oscillator 1. 0 corresponds to the note C minus 2. Detune, this sets the tuning of oscillator 2 relative to oscillator 1. Deck 1 and Deck 2, these set the decay time of oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. E, Config, this selects the waveforms and interacts of the 2 oscillators. So you can see you've got 2 different pitches. You've got one at the top, that's oscillator 1, one at the bottom, that's oscillator 2. You've also got a little square, which means it's re-triggered. So that's re-triggered, that's not re-triggered, that's just free flowing. So you've got, there are 2 different waveforms for oscillator 1, so you've got a sine and a sine saw, and 5 different waveforms for oscillator 2, so you've got a sine, a skew sine, a triangle, a sine saw, and a saw. So the plus, you can see this little letter here, the plus of that means it mixes the oscillator. The R is ring modulation, FM is frequency modulation. So with oscillator 1 as the carrier, does not pitch track 100% correct. And then you have the other one, which is F plus R, frequency modulation and ring modulation. And this also does not pitch track 100%. So let's move on to bend. So bend sets the depth of a fixed time pitch envelope and increases the volume 1 of a short transient. You could do some kicks with that. See what you can come up with. Balance, this controls the levels of the 2 oscillators. At a value of 0, both are 50%, negative values attenuate oscillator 2, positive values attenuate oscillator 1. So positive value there is attenuating oscillator 1, and then negative values is attenuating oscillator 2. And then over the overdrive sets the gain amount of the analog overdrive. So what is good about this is like we can play this as a synthesizer. So if we hit function and keyboard, it basically brings up the keyboard of an octave. So we've got C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, and so forth. And it can go down an octave by, or up an octave by these two. So you can make some really nice stuff with this. So let's just go back to these two sine waves. What I did then was just held the hold note to note, so every time I put it on, that is how long it's holding for. So what's been controlled now is by the decay time is these two. So if you set that to 0, and also what you can do with this is you can press function and it clicks to the nearest semitone. So you've got -16, -12, -7, 0, and then the other way. These are the most commonly used. So you can have loads of fun with that, loads of sonic possibilities, and I really like that. And that wraps up every machine that is available in the analog section of the Syntakt.